Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about, is the Scream franchise running out of motives for Ghostface? So, one thing that I never thought would be Scream would be continuing on to a seventh movie. I assumed they just would have stopped years ago. But they keep on pushing them out, and Paramount is persistent on having more movies. Heck, in the last movie, they even said we're in a franchise and everything. Forget the rules of like a trilogy and a sequel and all this other crap. So, problem is, like with the Halloween movies and other movies, when you keep constantly pushing out movie after movie after movie, you're gonna have a couple of stinkers and everything. And for the most part, Scream has never really had that, although I will consider Scream 5 just like terrible. So, in my opinion, that is the only stinker in the Scream movie franchise. But in terms of the television, that's not connected but still part of the franchise, the TV show was okay for what it was and like a drama, but there was little slasher and there should have been more. One thing the television show did, it wanted to build up on the actual story, background characters, character development, and stuff like that. And just so happened to throw in a slasher. After a while, they kind of went off the rails. The TV show, in my opinion, was never like spectacular like the movies, but they was okay. And some seasons were better than the rest. But then in terms of the movie, for the most part, the movies have been extremely good. The third one, it's a little weak in terms of the characters. It has some of the worst characters ever and some of the most over the top acting I've ever seen, to the point where it felt like a comedy, like they were trying to rip off Scary Movie or something like that. But the actual plot and the kills and stuff like that was pretty cool and inventive, and the mystery behind who Ghostface was. However, we're getting to that point where they're really starting to run out of ideas, and you can tell they're running out of ideas. They're constantly going back to the well and giving motives from past killers to the new killers and stuff. How many of the Ghostface killers are like horror movie obsessed people who just go bonkers one day and go on a killing spree? Too many to count. How many of them wanted to create their own slasher movie? Just about all of them. How many of them wanted revenge in some way or another on the main character? A good couple of them did. How many of them wanted to avenge the death of a family member because their family member was a former Ghostface? There's been two so far and everything. And so they're constantly just repeating their formula. They're throwing in a little new stuff here and there, but for the most part, they're just redoing stuff. Also, how many times has a family member tried to kill the main person in the movie and dress up as Ghostface? There's been like two who's done that. How many people just wanted to do the whole Ghostface thing to become famous? There's too many of them who wanted to do that, who literally wanted to get caught. There's two in that area. But, it's like I'm saying, like, you have Scream 4, they wanted to make their own movie. Scream 5, they wanted to make their own movie. Scream 3, they wanted to make their own movie. Scream 2 and 4 were family members. Oh, no. Scream 3 and 4 was family members of the main final girl. Let's see, what was it? Scream 2 and Scream 6 were the family members of a former Ghostface who wanted revenge. And pretty much everybody just was movie obsessed and wanted to go on a killing spree and stuff, except for Scream 6. So they are truly, truly running out of ideas. And it's going to get scary in the long run because they're not going to be inventive and they're not going to be creative and stuff. They're going to start seeming kind of silly and everything, and you don't want that. Like Scream 5. One good thing about Scream 5 is that the killers were like toxic online people who decided to take their toxicity out into the real world and go on a killing spree and everything. And that was creative because look what's going on in today's like climate and stuff. People constantly getting pissed, screaming, woke, and everything like that, and people mad at people, hating people, attacking people. So that was very clever, and it pissed off those same people that say that stuff and do that stuff because they got parodied in Scream 5 and everything. But where do you go after this? You can't like it was even to the point where I predicted the type of killers we would have in Scream 6. It would be a family trio, a brother sister duo, and a parent. I literally predicted that like a year or two ago, and that's what happened. And when fans start to predict, because we've been watching this since the late 90s and stuff, we can kind of tell who a killer gonna be as we're watching the movie. We can tell certain events that's gonna happen, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna get boring. So what do? I still say right here, right now, the best bet is just to have Samantha Carpenter go cuckoo in the head and try to kill Sam. We've never had an actual parent be Ghostface and try to kill the final girl that they're related to. That's never been done before. But still, again, it falls under that category of a family member being Ghostface, pissed off and looking to kill the final girl. So where in the world do we go next? Is it gonna be to the point where they start feeling like a TV show motive and everything? Maybe that's what they're gonna have to do. I mean, whether people like it or not, the first season or the first two seasons of the Screen television series, the first killer was the typical long lost family member. But one thing they was building up to for two seasons, what was it, Brandon James killer or whatever? Like the dude whose face was disfigured and the townspeople made fun of him and they thought he was dead and maybe he is and he was in love with the final girl's mom. Maybe they're gonna have to start pulling from like a drama series or something like that to get like a more creative like vision or motive or something like that, because they're running out of steam. And then, with the season 3, that motive was kind of weird. Basically, it was two twins. They thought one twin was dead, so the other one pretended to be that twin. And then somebody found out and was pissed and went on the killing spree. So it's like, as wonky as that was, it was just a weird motive and everything. But that's what's going to happen if they don't stop this franchise. At some point in time, they're gonna have to pull the plug on Scream before it gets ridiculous, or before, because they're already bringing people back from the freaking dead. Kirby should be dead, period. She died. She even said she died for 4 minutes. She should have died and stayed dead. And because other people have been stabbed less and have survived. And then you have Chad Meeks, who literally has the best plot armor in the world. This dude is surviving stab wounds like nobody else has before. And in Scream 6, there is no way he survived that. He was stabbed multiple times by two killers at a fast speed that should have put him into shock and at least killed his behind. But oh no, once again, here he is on the stretcher being wheeled off and everything. They're doing that Dewey crap. Only thing about Dewey is that every time we see Dewey get stabbed, Dewey gets stabbed in the back. So I can believe, okay, yeah, you can survive that but have some nerve damage. Until, of course, the Scream 5 when they actually killed his behind. But seriously, they really need to end this franchise and end it with a killer who has done something never before. Like, maybe the person was just bored, and maybe they hate horror movies. Maybe they were just so bored. They're all like, I need something to do. This sounds interesting. Okay, I'll just go on the killing spree. Like, they need to come up with something, because it's going to get to that point where they're going to come up with something that stupid, But another theory I had was, make Sydney the killer or make Gail the killer. It's never been done. It will be new. Yes, it would be predictable, especially for Gail, but most people will be kind of wondering what the heck is going on with Sydney. But I've said that before. With Gail, it's just because she's desperate and needs a new story and needs a new franchise to build off on. With Sydney, maybe she's finally gone cuckoo in the head for so many people trying to kill her for nearly, what is it now? 2-3 decades now? I think it's nearly 30 years people have been trying to kill her behind. Maybe she's gone cuckoo. Maybe just maybe she feels like, hey, maybe if I kill the surviving people, this can finally end and fake my own death, and it can finally end people trying to be Ghostface and everything. They can't kill who they think is dead, and she will fake her own death. Like, do something creative and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.